Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Okay, got it. All right, so we are Atlas Copco. A little, we have a little agenda set up for you guys today. All right, so Atlas Copco is known as the home of industrial ideas. Um, we have customers all over the world. Like I said, even our own division here in Santa Maria, we have customers in around 180 countries in itself, just within this division. We have about 37,000 employees all around the world. And just in our own division, we're about 300 or so. So it's definitely a big company. We were established in 1873 in Stockholm, Sweden. We are known to have a high revenue and profit each year with an approximating operating margin at 22%. So you business majors should know what that means. It's a good thing. So, like I said, we have a it's a very big, broad company. We have a board of directors, and then we have a president and CEO, and then we have business areas and corporate functions. So we are in the compressor technique business area, which covers about, I'd say, like 45% of the company's total revenue. We are a product company specifically in the gas and process division. See, this is just like a simple map of where we have customers. It's literally all over the world. It's great to see our interactions with different people all around the world. And all of this just points to an Atlas Copco entity. So here in Santa Maria, we are considered a product company as we design and manufacture products here in Santa Maria. We also have distribution centers and customer centers. So let's say when we're working with the customer in Europe, we usually have their first point of contact be their local representative from a local customer center or service center, and then we get everything relayed back to us. So it definitely takes a lot of communication back and forth to definitely meet what the customer needs and wants. And so this is just a portfolio of all of our brands. So throughout the years, Atlas Copco just keeps on growing. We have acquired many, many companies throughout the years. So we're definitely growing in the right way. And our mission is basically sustainable, profitable growth that we achieve by safeguarding people, profit, and the planet. We're definitely open for innovative ideas, for a diverse workplace. And Corinne, if there's anything you want to add throughout my presentation, please go ahead.
Okay, I won't let you struggle. I was going to try and have the slide up next to it, but one thing I do want to say is, Atlas Copco is a global company, so we have all of these different brands that Atlas Copco has bought, and we're all throughout. However, Atlas Copco Montby Trench, like Julie said in the beginning, we handle the turbo expanders and the building of those and the skids and everything that goes along with it. So ours is pretty unique in that everything that we do is from start to finish. So from an engineer point of view, obviously that's a great thing. But even for all those who are in different parts of our business, it's like a perk to put it out there that, we do everything. So we do, we handle the product management. We have our field service technicians who go out in the field and service those machines after, so I don't know. I see it even as HR as like a really big selling point. And it's kind of cool to see our big skids get shipped out literally from our yard right outside my window in the office, not here. So yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Corinne.
Of course.
And like Corinne said, we have customers in all industries. You'll see our brand all over. We have customers in a variety of industries, let's say in construction, in the process industry, in general manufacturing, in the electrical and technology industry, and then even in the motor vehicle industry. So we're literally everywhere. And so now a little bit of background on our specific division. So we actually started off as a Mafi trench company, and let's see, we were acquired by.
So it was founded by literally two guys whose last names were Mafia and Trench. It has nothing to do with trenches and has nothing to do with mafia, but we get it all the time. It kind of creates a little icebreaker, I guess, in itself. But we were actually bought by Atlas Copco back in 2007. So we've kind of been on this journey, I guess going on like 13 years now. It doesn't feel that long, but when I started, it was about 8 or 9 years. So it's a little weird. So that's kind of like where we started. You want to go to the next one?
Okay. And so even when we were just the Mafi trench, we've always designed and manufactured turbo expanders. So this here is an expander compressor. Sorry, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but on the far left, you'll have an expander compressor. That's our main product that we design and manufacture here in Santa Maria. So an expanded compressor, also known as a turbo expander, basically it takes a high pressure and expands it through the expander side, and through that mechanical work is used to drive the compressor on the other side. So what this does, it produces high efficiency refrigeration. So let's say like for the use in extraction of ethane and natural gas liquids from the actual natural gas. And it's also for power recovery. So mainly used in, let's say like a chemical plant where it takes like a gas stream up to a certain temperature and brings those gas streams down to a lower pressure, hence recovering much of that energy. So these machines are customized to meet a customer's application specification. They're all a part of some sort of process. So depending on that process, we'll spec out the turbo expander to meet that customer's process. So some of like our hydrocarbon applications include natural gas liquids, dew point control, nitrogen rejection, and then some of our chemical and petrochemical applications include like ethylene recovery, ammonia purification, hydrogen recovery. So we're definitely applicable in a lot of industrial processes. Another one of our products, go ahead, Corinne.
No, I was just going to say that I think the next ones are just like the generator and then what our last, like what the skid looks like going out. And these things are ginormous. They go on the big rigs, and on a big old platform, they have to use, what are those things called? I can't think of what they're called right now, but cranes, really large cranes to lift these things onto these skids. But just because I know most of you guys are business majors, I don't want to lose you guys in that piece.
Sorry.
So that's all.
How much do those pieces cost?
They
are from, you would probably know better than I would actually, Julie, but they're millions of dollars.
We're talking about easily $1 million up to, I don't know, a lot. We're in the millions.
Yeah.
Because let's say like one of these machines goes out in a plant, they might be, they might cost them like about let's say $2-3 million, but what they generate for that customer is thousands of dollars a day. So it's nothing compared to what the customer ends up gaining from one of these turbo expanders. So another type of product that we have is an expander generator. And so an expander generator is, you have an expander on one side, and again, that you have a high process gas, or high pressure gas, sorry. And so it's expanded, it produces work, and instead of a compressor, we have an electrical generator generating electricity. And so that power generation is used in a lot of different industrial processes, just depends like what your application is. But definitely used on like heat recovery, pressure letdown from like plant processes, and also used for propane dehydrogenation. And then like Corinne was saying, these things ship out in like a large skid. So if you look at like the lower platform, think of that as like the skid bays, and everything on that is needed to support the machine. So here you have like a lube oil system, you have a control system. So you'll have, and I'll speak a little bit of that more since like that's what I'm concentrating here in the company. You have the control system on your left. You can see like a little box with like a little screen, and that itself is considered the control system of the machine. So that control system will control, monitor, and protect the machine from certain temperatures, certain vibrations, and these skids are all custom engineered to, again, a plant specification. It's definitely not a super simple product. You know, even myself with an engineering background, I still don't quite grasp the whole scenario of what we do, but just think of a high efficiency refrigerator applied in a plant somewhere out there that uses, let's say, that extracts natural gas to extract like a specific chemical, let's say like methane. And so we wanted to cover a little bit of a recruitment 101. And I'll let
go ahead and share my screen, Julie.
Okay.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions so far?
How long does it take you guys to build one of those things on average?
Depends. It depends. It definitely takes us like, so we'll get the request, and then we have a lot of customer interaction to get their specifications, but it can take anywhere from like a year to 2 years, just because, like Corinne said, we literally make everything in the factory. We order all the raw material, we order some buyout parts, we put it together, we test it. So it's a long process. Yeah. It's not like a simple like, oh, we'll give it out to you like 2 to 3 weeks. No, since it's custom made, it definitely takes a long time.
And how many people do you usually work per project on the?
All hands on deck.
Yeah.
One of each.
Yeah,
at least.
Yeah, we have people from every department. We have people from, let's say, production control, Corinne, little like, yeah, all hands on deck. Like I don't know, it varies just because like each project is so custom. You know, some of these are so high end that it requires 5 or 6 engineers to be working on it, whereas we have some more standardized units that require only one of us to just scope out and make sure everything works as it should. But a lot. I'm sorry, I don't have a specific number, but it definitely requires a big group, and that group, you know, consists of people with many different backgrounds.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So it seems like it takes a long time to make these. How many are you guys manufacturing in a year or within a year? Yeah.
Well, I'd say we have maybe like about anywhere from like 2 to 5 skits in the factory. So we'll be working on about 2 to 6 projects at a time. You know, and then some of these are held back for certain, you know, we're waiting for a specific material to continue, or, I mean, our factory is big and we do have, you know, a lot of employees. So we don't always just want to focus on one project. So we do about 2 to 6, depending on how busy we get, or how spec'd out the job is. But it's definitely, it's minimal. And then on the aftermarket side, we'll have these units out already, you know, all over the world. And throughout the years, they need, sometimes the customer wants to do some sort of redesign to kind of just get some sort of like health check on these machines and make sure that they're operating at their highest efficiency possible. So on the aftermarket side, you know, we send out like some sort of like a field service engineer to scope it out. We can either bring in that unit back to the factory and fix it, or send somebody out there, depending on the required work. And you know, like I said, like on my end too, we have some of these units that are controlled by super old relay panels. They don't even have a computer that, you know, controls them. And so another one of the things that we do is work with older customers and make sure that they're getting, you know, most updated possible control system. Yeah.
All right. So I know that when we were talking, wait, no one has any other questions, right? Okay. So when we were talking about like the little icebreaker, like what everyone wanted to do and where they ended up, obviously things change. So as HR, I just wanted to kind of give my 2 cents, if you will, on different things that everyone should keep in mind, regardless of what your major is. And obviously, if you're going into HR, maybe, you know, these are some things to keep in mind, even more so because you'll be doing a, you know, a presentation one day on something like this, and you should, you know, also follow these rules. So I'm sure you guys have read it by now, but talking about networking, obviously you guys are all part of this group and that's amazing. I tell everyone to try and network as much as possible because I have made connections or helped other people make connections through people who weren't HR majors, who, you know, weren't any part of what I would do normally, I guess you would say, and where I wanted to end up as far as a job. You know, one of my good friends was a poli-sci major, and he's actually been quite helpful. He now works for the SLO County, one of the SLO County law offices, and one works for the DA. So do I do anything to do with those? No, but is it helpful to have a friend in that office? Definitely. So that's just an example. And then I put on here, well, before I say that, so, you know, get with your career center. That's what they're there for. I know that it's, you know, can be kind of like a little daunting process, I guess. And you don't know them, they don't know you, but they literally just are there to help, whether that's with your resume or some interview etiquette, especially because we all don't do interviews very often. Usually do it to get the job, and then you're good for a while. And then obviously attending the career fairs. But one thing I want to stress is to not burn any bridges, regardless of who that person is. You never know where you're going to end up. I have many people who, at least where we're at now, like who have worked together before or had previously the same bosses, who like got the job because of knowing each other essentially. Does it mean you have to be best friends with everybody? Absolutely not. But you do need to just make sure that, you know, you're respectful of everybody, regardless of being in the same profession or not. So just want to say that. Oh, I think I'm hiding it with you guys. Okay. So the next thing is social media. I know that we are in a time where everyone has it, and that's fine. Just be mindful that literally everyone has it. So they will look for you. I won't as HR, but I can't say your colleagues and future bosses won't. So knowing what your public face looks like is quite necessary nowadays. And I'm not just talking about LinkedIn. They will just Google your name. So whatever pops up, I encourage all of you guys to kind of maybe take a look and see what comes up if you Google yourself. But definitely don't treat them the same as far as like LinkedIn and like Facebook. LinkedIn's where you have your connections and you know, talk with, you know, those previous classmates, professors, colleagues, even friends. But you're posting more about, you know, professional type items. And you're saving all the baby pictures and Friday nights and all of that stuff for your other platforms. As far as resumes, I just put a couple things on like do's and don'ts, and I'll explain a little bit more, and then I'll let you guys ask questions because this is usually where I get them. But I tell everyone, especially when you're coming straight out of college, include your volunteer work, your internships, the side project that you did on your own, and it wasn't, you know, anything that you got paid for necessarily. So focus on those projects is a big thing because I hate to say it, but we all kind of look the same coming out of school. Everyone took very similar classes, you know, everyone joined that one club that gave free pizza on Fridays and, did the same projects with those classes. So you have to try and think of ways to kind of make yourself stand out. And sometimes that is by, you know, giving a little bit of personal, not too personal, but personal information, like things that you like to do. And also make sure that you include any job that you've had. I will say from a recruiter and from talking with our managers, if you've never had a job within your industry, they would rather know that you went through school and you did have a job and you had to juggle all that rather than you leaving that off and it just looks like, you know, you balanced school and that's great, but they want to know a little bit more. And you can do that by, you know, obviously sharing if you did work. As far as words to be relevant to the job, use their job ad. They put it out there, and I'm not saying copy and paste it, but scan it for what is actually relevant to you and things that you've done, because sometimes they do use those systems where it like picks the different words out and chooses it that way. Do not age yourself. You don't need to include high school unless there's something stellar from high school that you did. I think it's the general assumption, especially if you're coming from a university, that you graduated from high school. Whether it was a diploma or GED, doesn't matter, but you got it. So putting it on there and putting the year is kind of something I tell everyone not to do. Unless, like obviously if you graduated recently from school, then include that on there. But never use a family member as a reference. I have literally called references and it was their mother. And I know your mom thinks greatly of you, but not really the reference I'm looking for. So there's that. And then especially coming out of college, or at least for now, I would say don't exceed 2 pages. I wouldn't even exceed 1 page. With you guys just coming out of school. Combine as much as you can. So if you worked as an HR assistant, you worked as an HR intern, just list those at the bottom and then list all the different types of HR duties that you did. And likewise, accounting, marketing, you did a marketing internship, list those all together rather than like spreading it all out, if you will. The last thing I want to say about that is, what would I say? How would I say it? Sorry, she's, I had to lift her up. I'm trying. So when you're putting all of your information on there, focus, and I meant to put this on here actually, but focus not just on what your duties were, but what your accomplishments were. Everyone has the same job description when they go in that job. So again, like what made you stand out? You made the company go electronic, got all the documents in there and made them into an electronic records management system. Great, put that rather than scan documents. That's, you know, just the difference in how it sounds, let alone how it looks, is even better. Or went through an audit and got 100% compliance. You know, think of those things. Numbers are a good thing regardless of what major you're in, but especially if it's marketing, business, what else? Accounting, sales, like all those things. Numbers mean a lot to those managers, and I could tell you that from here. So before I go on to the next screen, does anyone have any questions on that? No? Yes, maybe. No? Okay. So before you go into an interview, before you even apply, I would say that you look at the organization and see if it actually matches with who you are and what you want to do. What are their core values, their mission, their strategy? Does it align with who you are? Are they a stable company? You know, did they just do a layoff last month and you're the new person in the block? You know, just sometimes if you can know those things, it can really help you in the long run. Sometimes it's a good thing if they just did a layoff and they hired you. That means maybe they got rid of people that they didn't want anymore and now they're making room for people they do and they picked you. So that could be a good thing. But to know it is a lot better. And then obviously just things to do with work, which I think matters more than how much you get paid and all those things. But how work-life balance is, what the culture is at the office, if everyone's friends, maybe not buddies, but, you know, friendly enough, or, you know, just all of those things. And will you be challenged in the job? I will tell you now that if you're not challenging yourself and your company is not challenging you, you will get bored of that job and you will leave. So don't set yourself up to start at a job that you already think, I could do it. You know. All right. So like I said before, and I think this is obviously one of the things that everyone kind of focuses on coming out of school. I will tell you, like, I had a friend who had an offer from like Deloitte, okay? Awesome company, consulting, right? And I won't tell you how much they offered her, but it was a very pretty amount. However, she was gonna work 50 plus hours a week. She was gonna travel all the time, and she'd never been to the office. So and she had another comparable package that was offered to her, a smaller company, but it would have been normal, 40 hours expected. There was things like paid for training, education assistance, and the pay wasn't all honest. I think it was like 10,000 less, but really the amount, or I would say cost and benefit of the other things actually adds up to a lot more than the difference, if you will. So like for us here at Atlas Copco, we have really good benefits. And I'm telling you because I came from somewhere that was a startup, actually in slow, and they're a great company, but their benefits cost me a lot. 401k, we have matching. That is something you would want to look for if you're looking at an offer letter. If they have any matching, that means you're literally getting free money. You put in some, they put in some. So obviously the more percentage that is, the better, but any percentage honestly is great. Vacation, a lot of places I've seen, and you should watch for, is maybe they give 2 weeks of vacation, but they don't pay holidays. So you want to look for that because there's 11 big holidays in the year. So that would eat up all of your vacation pretty much. And that's how it was in my previous position. Where we're at now, we pay for 11 holidays and you start with 3 weeks vacation. So obviously that accrues more with time, but that is definitely kind of shows like for a work-life balance as well, because we want you to take time off and we're going to pay you to do it. And also a reminder to everybody to keep that balance. I will tell you that it's hard to break it once you start with that train of working all the time. Maternity and paternity leave, obviously, if you're thinking about having children, then those things matter. Employee and manager relationships, when you go to that interview is for you just as much as it is for them. They are going to be your boss. They are going to be someone you deal with regularly, and you want that to be a positive relationship. So if you come in and you think that dude is a jerk, to be honest, it's not going to work out. So, that's a good tell or sign from the get-go. Some of the things that drew me, obviously, were, for where we work, is the education assistance and training culture. We actually very strongly encourage our employees to hit at least 40 hours of training every year. Julie can tell you. But, and, the relationship that I've had with my boss as well and with the managers has been great. So is anyone close to being done? Like, are you guys going to finish with the end of this year, with this next quarter? Yeah. All right. We'll keep this stuff in mind. All right. Goal planning. Where are we at on time? Sorry. Okay. I'll go over this quickly. So I just encourage everyone to kind of look at this. Look at where you want to be in the next 3 to 5 years and work backwards. So in 5 years, I want to be the director of HR. So how am I going to get there? I need to get a certification. I need to get experience in workers' compensation or accounting, my least favorite subject in the world. Sorry, guys. Accounting's great, but it's great for you guys, not for me. But just, when you're thinking of your goals, don't just say, oh, that's what I want to do. You got to think of how you're going to do it and how you're going to get there. It won't just happen in 5 years, usually. So, yeah. And then if you are working for a company and you would like to move up in the organization, use HR. That's kind of what we're here for. I have employees come and ask, like, I want to get to this position, or I want to move to a different department. What do I need to do? And, they can provide you with guidance and assistance and tools that you can use. Oh man, we have interview 2. Okay. I think I kind of actually talked on some of these already. I'll skip that one. So
our main topic was recruitment 101.
Well, I know.
Yes, you're good.
Let me see what else is in here, and I'll just. Yeah, you know what? Like, I can tell you, make sure you make eye contact. I know this sounds stupid, but you don't have to be super professional and buy new clothes for all these interviews. Just be clean, prompt, and look ready. I've had people come in and didn't look like they combed their hair or put their collar down. And I'm like, dude, at least you could have just like straightened it out. I don't care what you're wearing. But, the collared shirt looks better if it was washed. or not crumpled from the corner, or, things like that. But honestly, ask questions. It really is an interview for you and the company. So you're only going to get to know them as much as you ask. And because otherwise they're only going to tell you what they want to tell you. So you got to think of some good things that way. I think that's it. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk your ears off. Anybody have any questions, whether it's on anything that I mentioned or Julie mentioned, or if anyone's looking to get into any certain career? Obviously, you guys talked about accounting and marketing and lots of different avenues, but does anyone have any questions for me or Julie?
I have. On the last slide, you said not to ask directly about the salary.
Correct.
What would be a good way of saying, could I get some more?
Let's see. I would say that maybe you don't ask for what the salary is, but you can tell them what you want. I would rather come in and say, beforehand, for myself personally, I'll go in and I know what they're offering generally, but just by looking online myself or what generally that job might pay. And if I think I'm worth more, I just make it known. I'm looking for $35 an hour and that's my minimum. You just tell them. And if they'll either meet you there, if they think that you're gonna be worth it, or you tell them I'm negotiable, but 32 is my minimum, just something like that. So, or annual amount, whatever it is that you're looking for. But asking them what the pay is makes them think that's all that matters, and you don't want that for yourself.
Is there a specific website that you would recommend to check for salaries?
Glassdoor.
Glassdoor, okay.
Mm-hmm. And Indeed actually has some information too, but Glassdoor, PayScale, and Indeed are the ones I use.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You guys are quiet.
Okay, just because you said we're quiet, I gotta pop up with a
All right.
So let's say you have two interviews, right? And then you go with the first one and they're like, hey, we really like you, we want to bring you on, but you still want to go to the second interview. What's a polite way to say, like, I have another interview, is it possible for me to go to that one before I accept?
I wouldn't tell them you have another interview because that would make them think they're second choice anyways. And what if the other place doesn't offer you, right? So I would say, can I have a few days to think about it? Or can I, depending on timing wise, if your next interview is the next day, then yeah, I would just say, can I have a night or two to think about it? If it's a little bit longer, you can, I hate to tell people to lie, but you can say I'm going on vacation for I'm going out of town this weekend and I'd really like to get back to you on Monday. If they really like you, they will wait a couple more days. A couple more days means nothing in comparison to, trying to hire somebody else or their second best choice. However, don't string anybody along. If you are not wanting the position, let the business go on and don't hold them so that, because they will literally wait for you if they do like you. But if you're second guessing it and you're like, I don't think I'm going to take this job, or even if this other place doesn't offer me, I don't want it, then just say no thank you. Because I've had that happen where people are like, yeah, like give me some more time, and I'm like, it's like a week later, like you could have just said no. So that's what I would say.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll give Jessica our emails as well if you guys have any other questions that you guys think of later on in the day and the week. Then you guys are definitely free to reach out to myself or Corinne.
Yeah. All right. Well, Valeria, I think that's it.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. It was awesome to hear about like a different company outside of kind of the business world, which is what we're really used to hearing. So it was nice to have like another perspective. We really loved having you here. Thank you so much for coming, both of you. And yeah, we hope you have a great rest of your day. That goes for everyone. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.